for being here today, guys. This is Ray Williams. We are going to have a very simple, frank meeting today. We're going to sort of track trends. We had a meeting with the resellers 2 days ago, and we're going to kind of give you a sense of what we're going to focus on for the next 2 or 3 months and what we've seen. As you guys know, we are sort of at the intersection of the vendor reseller conversation. We have a lot of data. We can't show you either side, but we can give advice. And the only thing I could say is it might be good to take our advice. All right, so let's jump in right now. We always like to start with our friends at IMSTA, give them a shout out. As a nonprofit organization, last year IMSTA, I think, ran 5 trade shows on 3 continents with less than $100,000. So it's like a magic trick, but they somehow do it. There's only 1 employee, so it's a lot of in-kind support, a hero kind of thing, and we have a lot of people volunteer. However, the reason I'm mentioning it is, if you could join, give them $350, it'll just go a long way, okay? And IMSTA is the only organization out here that is dedicated to advocating for the music software industry. There's no other one. So it's imperative that you're just a part of it. You don't have to do anything. Just kind of join, give them $350, and that will go a long way. They don't need a lot of money, but at the same time, they need some money, okay? So we always advocate you join, you sign up, and just allow them to do what they do. Now, the numbers looking so far, like this year, like every year is a nightmare year, right? Since COVID, nobody could predict the future. We always think the sky is going to fall. We thought the sky was going to fall last year. It didn't. This year, nobody knows what's going to happen, but the first quarter and what we're seeing indicates that the sky is not going to fall. Now, it's still too early. We have to go through the most difficult quarter, which is the second quarter. So the second quarter typically is the worst one. So we'll see. I think at the end of June, we'll kind of have a good idea. What we do know is if we get to a certain point, like say August, we know it's going to be a good year, bad year, because November, December always deliver a certain bounce, and we know what that bounce is going to be. So I'm just saying from the outset here, as short a time as we have to assess what 2024 is going to look like, it looks like it's going to be another small growth year. Now, what's growing? A lot of upgrade sales, DAWs, bundles, tuning. Okay, these are the big 4 groups that are perpetually just delivering business: DAWs, upgrades, bundles, tuning. All right. And following close somewhere behind there is, video and EQ. We're in a spring cleaning mode. So at the last time we had a meeting, we had 1,576 resellers. That went up to a little over 1,600. And then, as you can see, it's fallen back to 1,369. And why? Because we've been purging. We got a knife, and we went into the reseller database, and we started to carve people out of it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We also carved some vendors out of it too. So we'd rather have 500 active, engaged resellers than 1,600 and only 500 of them are active, okay? So we're not interested in just flashing a whole bunch of statistics and numbers to make ourselves look good. Similar thing when we had a lot of duplicated products and we had 15,000 products, we realized a lot of them sitting in the sub vendors, so we clean them out back to 7,000, now it's 8,000. So we're doing some house cleaning. Now we've been watching this little project that we've built with XCHANGE HD. Most of the products that are being shipped right now are, Avid products. There's some Live products. There's a bunch of things that are in there that are moving around, and it's now starting to move in the Middle East, in Asia through Singapore. So this project at the end of last year was 3% of a business, which is quite remarkable consider how new it is. And this year it's the first quarter, it's still around 3%, but we know by the end of this year it's going to be about 5%. So we're watching this closely, and as more companies are starting to strategically put their stuff in different places. And essentially what the stage that Exchange HD is in right now is a supplemental stage where we're just helping our members who have problems in certain regions of the world just offer another alternative to the traditional distribution system, which is not always working as it should in every area of the world, right? We had an incident where we woke up and hell had frozen over. We knew it was something like bizarre, like you remember where you were when this happened. I remember where I was when the Challenger exploded. I remember where I was when Waves joined Exchange. So Waves, we had a meeting at NAM, and this is just, it's none of your, it doesn't help anybody here, but we just thought this is a company that's 32 years old or 33 years old now, and they had the first Exchange. So Exchange with Guitar Center before Exchange, called VSSD. It's still there. A lot of resellers use it. But now we have an integrated system now that allows this product to be available on a network, and this is just quite remarkable for us. A couple of small but very important changes. Because of this whole Waves thing, we've added a lot more export formats now, mainly on the reseller side, but some of these also on the vendor side. You can now export a lot of the data sets that you find from the pages in, not just Excel, but JSON, XML, CSV, and then a couple of Waves formats. Wave has this specific format that people have been using. So the vendor pages, you won't see a lot of VSSD because it's not really pertinent, but you would see now JSON and XML. And the thing that we've tried to do now is to detach the export from, not all the time, but in general from the GUI. So sometimes people want to export everything rather than just export what's the found set is, right? So this makes it easier for us to add more formats as they're needed, because we'll just add another line in the export menu, and this is actually quite easy for us to do. We have been part of this whole purge audit of the reseller network. We have been trying to improve the way they connect with you. So right now, a reseller, they will log in. We've improved the whole connection side on their side. They'll come in, immediately they'll see all the eligible vendors that they connect to. So ones that they have already connected would not be in the list. They don't have to press any button to see anything. It'll take a little bit of time, but they'll see it there. They also have a newer portal. So the newer portal, which is in beta with some of the resellers, that's a completely different system. But we're talking about the kind of classic system that we have now. So they will see the eligible vendors, but also they'll see all the expired ones, all the pending ones, all the declined ones, etc. But more importantly, they're going to see vendors there that are typically responsive. And we're going to improve this over and over again. And we're going to improve it for you. So you're going to see resellers that are going to be responsive, or resellers that are real, or resellers that are still in business, or resellers that respond to emails. And the same thing with your side. That's why we had to strip out 26 vendors out of the system. We didn't delete their account. We just made them inactive. So people would no longer send them invitations that they're not even looked at. So what we're trying to do here in a big picture sense is when you go in to send an invitation to a reseller and you see that big list from this particular country, we've recently looked at that country, weeded out the dead weight, and the ones that are there typically are active and attentive and engaged. Okay, that's our goal. We want the quality of the reseller network to be much higher, right? And of course, that will mean the quantity would shrink, okay? Because if you haven't responded to something in a year, or your stuff bounces, or whatever is happening with your account or how you set it up, we'll contact you. We're not going to just zap you. But if we still can't get any headway in a couple of weeks, we'll just, move you off to the side, right? So on the vendor side, the resellers, as I said, we had a meeting with them on Tuesday, and a lot of them complain that they make a lot of requests on the other side. So they request, and that the vendors don't respond. I mean, you guys have to either accept or reject. You don't have to. You could just let them expire. But that expiration also will have an impact, because we are going to watch these. And if for example, there's a vendor that has the hottest product in the world, everybody wants it, 100 people hit the request to you, and you don't respond to any of them for a year, we might just move you off to the side. You'll still be there, you'll still be doing your business, but nobody will be able to send you another request because you don't respond to them. So there's no point in anybody sending you a request. There's no point. We don't want to advertise you as being a vendor when the resellers can't get anything from you, not even a rejection. It's better to get a rejection than to get nothing. And the same is true on the other side. If you are sending an invitation to a reseller and 7, 10, 15, 25 of you sent to the same reseller and all of it expires, then nobody should be able to send another invitation to this reseller. So we're trying to clean up the whole system. Now we were at 1,600 resellers and 330 something vendors. We're down to 308 vendors and 1,370 resellers. The reseller is probably going to go down to 1,200 and some. We'll probably be around 1,225, 1,250 by the time the whole sort of purge is complete. And after a certain point, there'll be a deactivation. So we will just there's going to be an automatic system. After a certain amount of years, your file will just be, we'll just get rid of you. Because we have a lot of, it doesn't cost us anything to have your file. There's a lot of lists, big pools of data that are pulled when the resellers, go into these pages. And if, we have 80 names and 60 of them are totally useless, all we're doing is wasting people's time while that populates, and then you have to navigate through all this dead weight. So we want improvement all around. And there's some ways we can automate this. So eventually we're going to use 2024 to perfect a way to have the system by the end of this year kind of manage this by itself. Okay? We're going to do a lot of human input this year to tweak the system, but we already have some systems that are semi-automated, but by the end of this year, the system will clean itself. A lot of this comes to settings. We're paying a lot of attention to this. This is the reseller and this is the vendor. On the reseller side, when you send an invitation to somebody, when you send a promo to somebody, when you send a bunch of things to people, they can segment who those notifications go to by email. Now, they all get in their browser a notification in that little bell at the top, right? It flashes a number there. But we have to wait for them to actually press that and see it. A lot of them don't. So they have what we call an exchange administrative contact. Now that exchange administrative contact person will get all of these, not everything, but all the ones in yellow, they'll get it. So what this is going to mean is when you have a promotion, and a promo is one thing that's very important, or when you send an invitation, regardless of whether they were tardy and not setting up this area, somebody is going to get that. Now, this is important if we're going to penalize them for not responding. You got to guarantee that they get the stuff, right? So The administrative contact will get it. Now, on the vendor side, you guys, same applies. Every single profile has, it's mandatory. You must have administrative contact. This is the person in your company, not the CEO, not the founder, but the person that is responsible for managing this portal and dealing with all these things in here. That person will get a lot of these notifications now, regardless of the settings, okay? Because again, we want you to be as responsive to the resellers as they have to be responsive to you, okay? And vital for promotions. When you send out a promotion, we've been telling you guys to be careful, be a little bit more deliberate with the selection of who you give the promos to. Don't give it to 200 people. Give it to people that actually sell promos. And we've been really stressing this because, we'll tell you, I promise you, I could show you the top 10 resellers in Exchange right now, okay? Top 10 resellers. Just imagine the top 10 resellers, okay? I'm just gonna do it randomly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 2 will not sell regular products. They'll only sell promo. They are the kings of promo, but they're horrible with real stuff. Number 1, number 3, number 7. They will not sell promo, or they'll not sell as much promo. What I'm saying is, you have different skill sets out there. You have different resellers that have different focuses. They're not all interested in everything. It's like a baseball team. You have 25 players, but you have 7 or 8 of them. All they do is pitch. They don't hit home runs. They don't catch. You have 3 catchers. So instead of treating all in the same, let them just focus on pitching. Don't try to get them to become the greatest hitters, because the hitters are the hitters. And don't waste time trying to teach the hitters to pitch. They're not interested in pitching. So it's the same thing with these resellers. And there's a very important page in your promo called a promo matrix. The promo matrix shows you who these people are. You don't have to guess. When you're running your promos, go to the promo matrix, you'll see all the pictures are there. Those are the people that you give the promo to because they know how to do promo. A lot of them don't know how to do regular day-to-day business. They get bored. They must have some kind of discount. Some of them are called discounts in their name. Music software discounts. Of course, this guy is a promo guy. And here comes the result of all of this. We're going to have a reseller rating system. This is going to help you a lot. Now, we debuted this with the resellers. A lot of them got nervous. A lot of them got kind of scared. It was like, oh my God, what do you mean? How do I get my ranking higher? I told them that I have a wallet. It has lots of compartments and we're accepting bribes. But of course, I was joking. We have certain criteria, and this is going to be a staged process. And what I mean by that is we have the first stage, which is total automatic rating, which is coming from the portal itself. So we look at these criteria right here, the sales, total sales, last 12 months, the previous 12 months, and there's a weighting for all of these features, how many items they sell, because some of them are promo people, and all these criteria. And then there's a weighting system. So we have sort of version 0.5 of this now. We have an algorithm that we don't want to commit to. We want to see how it ranks these resellers over the next 3 to 4 or 5 months. But I believe by September it will be to the point where we can literally just deploy it, not worry about anything. And what this is it's region based. So the United States is one market, right? And of course, South Asia is one market. So you cannot measure resellers in South Asia the same way you measure resellers in the United States. But each region will have their 5 stars. Each region will have their 1 stars, right? So it's a more of it's a very fair system within the region. Now you can argue that within a region we could we could divide it by category, and that's coming. We have a lot of data. There's some people that are better with education products. There's some people that are better with notation products. There's some people you want to know these things. We will have a rating system, not this year, probably next year, that could be that granular. So for example, let's say, you are, I don't know, Avid and you're making DAWs. You're not making, EQs. You want to know who the top DAW guys are. And give me the 5 stars with the DAW. And so that'll help you. Again, we're just trying to make the system more effective for you and for them, for everybody. So that you don't have all these names, because if you select the USA or Canada or Germany or one of these places, there's a lot of vendors, a lot of resellers. It's just another name. You have Thomann and you have another company right next to them. You can't tell the difference. If you don't know what Thomann is, they look the same. So there has to be some way of you just having a sense. Now the danger here is that the new people kind of get lost. They don't get any attention. Their rating is low. So we have a category for new people, but at the same time, I don't know what to do. I mean, like you can't have a university that gives out A's to everybody. We can't not do this. I don't see an alternative. So it sucks when you get a 2-star, but I mean the solution there is to work your way up to a 5-star, rather than blame the system, right? So we're still tweaking this. I think it's going to be phenomenal for you guys. And later on, the second phase, like I said, it's a stage system. We will have a way to have, ratings, like a rating system, but not this year. We want to see how this goes first. Because we don't want people slagging other people, like individual rating. I think that's helpful. Like if one of you have had a lot of trouble collecting money from somebody, I think other people want to know that. Just things like that. If a reseller having a hard time with a vendor has bad habits, I don't know. I think this will help the whole thing get better, everything get better, right? Because this is a mature system now. A lot of people rely on this system for their business, and we take it very seriously. We live off of this, so we want it to be better. We're doing whatever we can to make it more effective for everybody, right? Now, a couple of things. These are kind of notices from we asked our staff, what do you want me to tell them? And they said, tell them this. Because of the security situation in the world, you notice we've been shutting down the system at least once a month, doing a lot of patches, a lot of updates on a regular basis now. We are taking care of, the IP of some serious companies. We have a huge responsibility to make sure the system is secure. And we spend a lot of money on security. We have to, have no choice. And your codes loaded into the system, I mean, they're in the system, right? So one of the ways to have a little bit more security, not that there's any problem with putting codes in the system, is to use one of two things, the autogen or the on-demand system. So the autogen, after the customer buys a code, the code itself is generated by Exchange. So it's just a fake code. It's just a made-up number. But that made-up number is registered back by you. So you know how to discern this number when the customer tries to register it, okay? Because you put a little piece of code in your IP on your website. So when the customer goes to the vendor, and registers this made-up code from Exchange, it triggers your IP system to say, I know this Exchange. And it will accept it and then give the customer a real code. So it's like a coupon code, right? That's one system. The other one is on demand, where the customer comes in, buys it, now the reseller goes to buy it, but they don't know that actually there's no codes in the system. when they trigger a purchase of that particular item, it knows that, oh my God, this is on demand. So I got to go to the vendor, the license management, grab a code and give it back to the reseller who gives it back to the customer. Those are real codes, right? This is another way to keep codes out of the system, okay? Now, both of them require a little bit of programming, but everybody on this call are programmers. So this is like, this is nothing. It's like going out for dinner for you. So this is one way of avoiding that one exposure, which is exposure of your code. So again, a lot of companies are using this. Most of the major companies, in the top 20 vendors, I would be surprised if there's 2 that are not using something like this, because they don't want to load codes and they sell a lot of codes. So at some point, it just becomes a nightmare having to load in all these codes and manage them, and they run out. No. Now, speaking of running out, the only problem with this, the only flaw, is the internet connection and some kind of interruption in your database or some weird thing like that, right? That's where this little thing, Failover Cache, comes in. So the Failover Cache, again, you don't have to, but we recommend you do this. The Failover Cache is a pool of licenses that live in the system. They serve as a backup system. So you can set it at 20. So all products, it'll fill up with 20 real codes. So if the on-demand system goes to your service and can't get a code, meaning your service is updating or it's offline or whatever, it will fulfill it out of the cache. In the future, when it can reconnect, it'll fill up the cache again. Okay, so the on-demand with the Failover Cache system is the best system that we can think of, because in times like Black Friday, things like this, the worst thing you could do is run out of codes. That's the kiss of death. You have like a virtual system with codes. You're not shipping them by UPS and you run out of code. That's like, wow. That's like a runner forgetting their spikes, 100-meter final in the Olympics. It's like, damn, I forgot my spikes at home. Well, just run barefoot. Web assets. This is a big one. We are working on a spectacular thing, okay? Can't tell you what it is, but the potential here is really huge for all of you. It allows you to sell your codes in a kind of a new closed ecosystem, and the potential is great. I mean, we're very excited about it. However, it's going to require that you have web assets. And I can count on 2 hands, or maybe 3 or 4 hands, the number of companies that have web assets done for all their products. Now, these web assets we've offered many times to help you. We would help you do it. We'll find people to help you do it. It's because it's so useful for the customers. Basically, inside of your portal, each product you can insert pictures, text, bullet points, system requirements, and then you can update these as required. But the resellers can grab this stuff, and they can also grab it using APIs. So this is very, very important. I mean, I don't know, if you need help, reach out. Like, we will actually help you do it. It benefits us to have every vendor have this. So we will invest our own time and our own money to help you do this, because it makes the system better. Anything that makes the system better helps us, right? Now, we want to talk, perfect timing, 10:30. So we want to talk about this product release. Now, I don't want to waste a lot of time, because I know a lot of you have seen it at NAMM, because we have 26 examples that we're going to show after I do this small spiel, which should last about 7 minutes. So please, if you've seen this before, you're going to have to suffer through the 7 minutes of seeing it again. But the payoff is at the end, where we're going to go through real examples of price to volume results. Okay, these are real. Of course, we've hidden the product, so you're not going to know which product it is, but you're going to see what happens when you start manipulating price what happens to the volume and what the impact over time. We're only doing 1 year. We have this data for 2022 as well, but we'll just look at 2023 and a few examples. And at some point, we will put this in your portal because you need to see what's happening with your products price-wise, okay? And what am I talking about? I'm just going to quickly show you what we're going to get to. We're going to get to here, okay? So you're going to see different products, what happens when you start manipulating price, okay? Real examples, and we're going to learn something from this. All right, let's go through the rest of this presentation. Sorry. All right, now I'm going to time myself. 5 minutes. Products, all products. You can't say all. The majority of products go through this process, okay? They have an introduction where you have all this marketing material, all this intensity, all this demand. You make a big deal of it. It comes out and everybody's excited and it goes like boom. And then shortly thereafter, a month and a half, it starts to kind of wane because there's some other new thing. And it settles into this maturity phase. Now, this maturity phase, I'll give you an example. In the case of Melodyne 5, that maturity phase is what, 4 years, 5 years? This is years, right? Until Melodyne 6. And then at some point, if you never rev this product, it will decline to near zero because Madonna cannot sell like a virgin forever, okay? It's not selling like it used to in 1984. It eventually will go to zero, all right? All right. Now, the people that are buying the product are, they're broken in, we break them into these groups just for argument's sake. And people break them in other groups, but let's just follow this. We have the keeners, okay? These keeners are a very interesting group because they are important because they create a lot of buzz, a lot of noise. They're posting all the time. They're loud, and they're coming in first. They want to go first. They want to be the first, blah, blah, blah. They have to have the iPhone on the day it's released, not the second day. In fact, they want to be at the front of the line. They'll sleep the night before at the Apple store, so they'll be third in line or fourth in line or whatever. Right behind them is another group, very influential, called the early adopters. They just want to know the thing doesn't catch on fire. It doesn't, it doesn't have mercury inside. They want 1 or 2 people to say, yeah, it's good. They're rushing in too, like the second day, first week, first month, okay? Then you have the majority people. Basically, those are the people you're going to make most of your money from, right? This is where the money is in your product, not here. And then you have the laggards. These people will continue to use the iPhone 5 when there's iPhone 13, unless you make it impossible for them to continue using it by dropping the iPhone 13 or do some ridiculous price, or it stops working completely, or you put it on sale and it'll jump in here, okay? All right. Now, when you do a product release, we have looked at thousands of product releases, okay? You just have to trust us. Thousands. We've modeled them. We know exactly what happens. What happens is, at the beginning, there's a massive spike, and this varies. Depends on the product, depends on the price, all this stuff. Depends on the brand, position. And then you see, it continues, and then it settles. It settles into this kind of boredom of regular generic sales. And the only thing that's going to pop it out of this boredom of majority sales is a discount. So this line represents the price. And if the price drops, the volume goes up. Price goes back up, the volume goes down. Okay? And these are sales. So we're breaking them down color-wise. These are the early adopter guys. These are keeners. These are the early adopters. This is the majority. And these are the laggards. These people need a sale way after this is out to do anything. They will not jump unless you discount, okay? But please understand that this is your money. This is your money here, not these people, okay? This is your flashlight. These are the people that are loud, okay? So they will talk a lot. It's beautiful. We love them. But this is your money. And how do we know that? Well, when you look at the end of the year, and this is a real example, okay? I wish I could tell you who it is. Real example, a great product. They did a great release. What you see is that the majority of the money came from the boring people. Okay? Because what happens is eventually over time, like if, again, the best example is I can think of right off the top of my head is Melodyne 5, which came out in 2020. Okay? Still available in 2024. So if you look at the sales of Melodyne 5 in 2020, these people represent something like this. But if you look at it in 2024, for the whole period of its release, these people are going to represent, 3%. And these people are going to approach 100%. The longer it goes, if it's still popular, these majority of people will become 90% of your money. You see what I mean? Over time, they are growing. These people are fixed. You can't get keeners again. They were a blip at the beginning of the product. Okay? Now follow me now. Let me show you the biggest mistake companies make. And you guys could say whatever you want, refute it, whatever you want to refute. But this is what the data shows. We have another company. It's real data also. They have an introductory discount of 50%. All right. So when the introductory discount comes, what happens is they pull artificially people out of this area and throw them here. So first problem. Second problem is they basically tell the entire world that this is the real price of the product. Now, when they raise the price, these early adopters come in, but now these people, it's very hard to get the majority to come up to any kind of significant percentile. Okay, it's a big mistake. The third thing is when you drop the price in November, it's paltry. It doesn't compare to the frenzy at the beginning, because don't forget, peak demand is here. But peak money is here. Peak money is what you want, not peak demand. And then when you look at it at the end of the year, the keeners were everything, but you went into the desert for months, and this is all you got. Because it's artificial. This is fake demand. You manipulated the demand. You were doing a short-term thing. Now, again, going back to, some of these products, don't forget these products can last years. Years. It's not, if you need a product, like we have a product called Serato Pitch and Time. Okay, Pitch and Time, I think the last time it was updated, Bill Clinton was president. I think so. Somebody might want to correct me. Monica Lewinsky, it was that moment. That was the time it got the last update. But it keeps selling. There's a certain amount of people are just going to buy that. And it's not cheap. It's expensive. But whoever wants it, you can't stop them from buying it. You cannot stop them. There's no hurricane, no earthquake. Nothing is going to stop somebody from buying Pitch and Time when they decide they want to buy it. Whatever the price is, they're going to get it. All right. So the intro sale, I want you to really to look at this. And the biggest sort of retort I get when we mention this is, well, other people are doing it. Waves is doing it. I always hear this, Waves is doing it. Who cares what Waves is doing? Waves is 32 years old, as we just said. You're 5 years old. You can't, you're in like grade 1. What do you care what some guy who's graduated from university 5 years ago, what do you care what they're doing? Why are you emulating them? You're in grade 1. Just be grade 1. Be the best grade 1 you can be. You can't worry about Waves. Waves is selling something that they put out in 1992. They've kind of shifted it around and they keep selling it, but aren't they not allowed to sell that for $29? I mean, they sold it for $4.99 for like decades. You can't let them just do what they do. Like, let them do what they do. You don't have to do it though. And I always like this picture because this picture really explains why we don't like these introductory specials, because it destroys your profits. I want you to look at this guy right here. Now, if Apple, let's make it real simple. This phone costs $1,000. This guy looks like he bought two of them. Maybe one is for his sister. I don't know. He bought two. Now, I want you to really think about this guy. Look at his face. Seriously, look at that man's face. If Apple dropped the price to $500, would this guy buy these phones? He'll buy two phones. If Apple raised the price to $1,500, would this guy buy the two phones? Yes, he will. He doesn't care about the price. He cares about being first. So if Apple were to cut the price of the phone in half, all they're doing is literally depositing $500 in this guy's bank account. They're literally giving him money. He would have given them the money, but they said, "Nah, keep the money." But the guy's like, "I don't want a disc. I just want the product." But Apple, no, we're not taking $1,000 from you. We only want $500. Here's the other $500 back. That's what you're doing. The keeners want to be first. You have to believe that. They don't care about price. Most of the average price of a plug-in is $103. Average cell phone bill is $166. Like, who cares? People don't care about $103. They don't. There might be 3% of them who are very loud on the internet talking, but you just ignore them. So how do we measure? Because this is a very important thing. How do you measure the keeners? Well, I know that we could go to, and we talk about Melodyne. Melodyne 5, released in, I think, I'm trying to remember, April of 2020. We could see the spike in the first 3 months or 2 months, and we could measure that against the total sales. I haven't measured it, but I guarantee it's not 3% of the sales. It's not even 2% of the sales. Okay? Now, we could measure the keeners in another completely different world. Doesn't mean it applies to us exactly, but let me give you a sense of what keeners, what the total percentile for the product life these keeners represent. The iPhone 5, 6, 6S were some big releases. Okay, this is when this thing was really crazy. The iPhone 6S was the highest, 13 million in the first month. The phone went on to sell $174 million worth of phones. iPhone 6, 222. What is the keener percentile? 5-6%. Now, imagine that you priced your product for 6 or 7% of your customer base. This is crazy. You're not making any money from them because it's only 7% of your customers. There's no money there. I mean, it's like, what's 7% of the world population, of the world business? Let's say, I don't know, France. So you have a product and you priced it, you just concentrate on France. Well, what about the United States? What about Germany? What about UK, Japan, China? No, France. I only want the French market. What? What do you mean? You only want the Kina market. So when you do all this crazy discounting, all you're saying, I only care about the Kina market. Wrong. I can't tell you how strongly we feel about this. Now let's look at some examples. And I did go over my 5 minutes. Now, I preface this by saying I will actually be willing to provide these slides for you because you can't tell whose products these are. You can just see the impact of changing prices. Now, what we know is if you're selling Porsches and the person next to you, the building over, is selling Hondas, right? Let's say a Honda is $25,000 and a Porsche is $100,000. I guarantee you, if you drop the price of the Porsche to $50,000, you will sell more. And if you drop the price of the Honda from $25,000 to $15,000, you will sell more. There's no question about it. Okay? So we know how to manipulate quantity. There is a downside though. If you drop the price of the Porsche to $50,000, you'll sell more, but you'll make less money. For sure. Now, if you raise the price of the Porsche to $200,000, you will sell fewer of them. But you might actually make more money. And there might be a point between $100,000 and $200,000 where you make optimum money. But we won't get into that today. That's a whole other thing. We're going to make a video on optimized pricing. And you can use this data right here. You only need 2 points to find out what the optimum price for your product is. Okay, but let's go through and see what's happening here. All right, so this first product, this is a monthly total. They start out with a introductory price. So this is the highest price, it's the lowest price. And they ran some kind of promo parallel to raising the price. As you can see, big peak at the front, always a peak at the front. Then a drop off. But when they try to raise this price, look at this. This desertification. Now, this is what we always see. When you drop the price again in November, it's hard to come back. Because people are like, eh. And in here, this is terrible. Let me show you another one. Example number 2. These people don't care. They drop the price, yeah, the product goes up, but it's just regular. They sell like X number every month. That's the price. This price. This is a healthier business. This one, hard to explain. I don't even understand this. The product, but this is a lot, it's a very high number here. So we can't see, but the product is selling whatever it's selling. But of course, when they drop the price, and this is a massive drop, it's dropping a price from like, $100 to, I don't know what that is, like $20 or something. Yeah, you get the high number. But if you have a cost to this, if there's a cost to making this product, you're probably losing money. High numbers. This is what I'm saying. If you drop the price of the Porsche, let's say this is $100,000 to $25,000, you can sell more, but you're going to lose money. Yeah, you get the big numbers. You report massive revenue, but nobody sees your profit. And then what happens is you're saying, don't forget, this is a statement you're making to the marketplace. People remember, you can't bring this back. You can't bring it back up here. People say, no, that's a $25,000 car. Here's another one. They started out, they had some kind of sale, put it back up. You notice they didn't have any kind of intro. It's just picking along. November, always some kind of crazy thing in November because people are doing Black Friday sale. So always a peak. So we know they're going to drop the price. But again, you can see here, they start out, they say, this is the price. They show confidence. Take it or leave it. When you go up to I'm going to use Porsche again, Porsche Honda. You walk up to a Porsche dealership and you're in there and you say, hey, I really, really love this car, but it's too expensive. What do they tell you? They tell you, you know what? Come back when you're ready. Come back when you can afford it. Our industry has to say that to people. You have to say it. Who can't afford $100? Are you kidding me? You go to Starbucks, you're going to spend $50 if you take a couple of people in there. Here's another example. These people just don't care. This is our price. Here's another example. This is, again, these are examples that we pick because they're all different. So they started high. Probably weren't happy. They dropped it. There's a big sale, but this is a sale during the release phase. So yeah, you get that big spike. Everybody want to buy this thing, or maybe it started late in the month of March or something. So maybe this comes into this month, and then you see it settle down. And then you see this price is lowering. It's like they decided to lower the price because it wasn't working at this price. And then they put it on sale and you get a little buzz there. But again, don't forget, the people remember. You're imprinting in their mind. Okay, this one, the only logical conclusion I can make from this, the moral of this story, is when you do the discount, this is the low price. When you do the discount in November for Black Friday, it's not exciting. I mean, you guys can get this, right? I mean, it's not exciting. People are like, whatever. It's shocking. I mean, like, this is behavior of your customers in stark ones and zeros, in stark dollars and cents in front of you. There's another company. Now, these kind of companies are confident. Now, these numbers are low, but, they're like, nah, this is it. This is it. Here's another example. Now, again, this is high price, low price. This kind of experimentation, guys, I don't know. This is experimenting. It's. I can't tell you how to run your business. You guys run your business, but you make a product for a price point. You make it for one of these price points, and you just leave it there. You don't need to send this message to the marketplace that you don't even know what the proper price of the product is. And you think of other companies. Yeah, people lower prices all the time, put things on sale, but putting it down and up and down and up, and it's confusing. Same here. You put it up, sales went down. You say, oh my God, I put it down again. Sales go up, and it's, I don't know. These are real examples. I wish we could tell you who it is. Here's another one. These people are like, nah, we have a sale once a year at the end of the year. That's it. Here's another one. So I don't know what happens in the company. I don't know. Anybody want to chime in? What's happening here? What is happening? You start out, then you drop the price, then you put it back up, then you drop it, then you put it back up, and then it's a desert. Nothing. I mean, this would be great for kids. They could do like coloring with some of these charts. And these are real. Like, these are real price adjustments made by our vendors. And the communication goes out to the end user. They see these prices. It's reflected in sales. It's reflected in, communications. It's reflected in all kinds of things. And they respond. And here you go. You got Black Friday, the biggest selling period of the year, and you did drop it, but you didn't drop it to where it was here. Love these companies. These kind of companies are the best. They make the most money. Set it and forget it. And these guys are so confident. Look at this. They didn't even drop it in Black Friday. They're like, no, we're not dropping it. Real data. This is a release. Again, I believe May is inside of June. So you could look at this as being up here. And again, the discount sale, raise the price, desert. Lower the price, still desert. Black Friday, still desert. Why? Because this is too much price elasticity. And that's not even a correct word. It's like, I don't know what the correct word is. It's too much changing in the price. Sorry, guys. Confusing. Not too bad. A little sale, tiny sale. Tiny sale. What is that? 10% off? A little bump. Put it back to regular price. How many of these you think we have? Hundreds of these examples. Hundreds. You discount at the front end and ending up in a desert at the back end. We also have lots of these examples too, where you just kind of like leave it there. And this is coming in because there's a conversion from euro into US. There's small changes over time. But this is essentially a flat price. Yes. As soon as you start doing this, you get this kind of hodgepodge thing. We're almost done, guys. I'm showing you this for a reason. It all makes sense in a minute. Same thing here. This is a good example. This one, I'll say, all right. I will say this is an exception because here's what happened here. When they did launch with a discount, they went into the desert. But when they put it back on discount, they went lower. So they went lower than the introductory price, which is something like $250 or something. And then they went down to $200 and they had the spike. So this product is a hot product. People want it, I guess, but these people are waiting. These people are just waiting. I don't want to get it. And boom, all of them rush in here and get it. Look at that. 1,600 of them got it here. And they want it. They want it, right? A lot of them would have paid the regular price. You have people drop in from other places. Anyway, the problem with these people is they're waiting for this because you establish this price. They remember. So they're like, well, why am I going to buy it when it's higher? I'm going to wait for it to drop down. But these people, believe me, these people want this product. They're paying $200 for it. They want it. Like, you have to believe they want it. They do. It's just once they see it at this price and you're selling it at this price, it becomes hard for the human beings to say, I'm just going to buy it. No, don't establish this. That's what we say. Don't do this. Don't put that out there. Same thing, same example. Desert. I don't know. This looks wrong. It looks like this should be in this side. This is a straight one. Just two more examples. And again, like I said, what we've deduced, this is a weird one. I put it in there because we can't figure it out. It's a huge amount. This is what's distorting this thing. But what I think is interesting here is where it goes from. So you know, this thing has been as high as like $250. Now it's down here. Of course, you're going to get incredible numbers, but I don't know about the value of, you know, all these transactions and what you're going to end up with in terms of your money at the end of the period. Here, relatively flat, small discount at the beginning. Don't put discounts, depress this area. And here, I think this is the last example. You know, these companies tend to, the longevity of the product and the amount of money they make from the majority tends to be high. So I'm done right on time. I don't want to take any more than 1 hour. I know a lot of you have to get back to work. I thank you. I think I rambled a little bit on this meeting, but I was really trying to convey that software is at the center of the universe of all music production. Okay? You cannot make a record without software. You can't be heard without software. The software community is the most important segment in the entire MI industry. I was just at the NAM meeting. You guys know I'm on the NAM board, and I'm the only software company there on that board. I don't know, it's 40 people, right? And there is band, orchestra, there are drums, there are people that make ukuleles. There's all kinds of these people, and sorry, we are the most important one. We are the most important of all these segments, right? So what does that mean? It means we don't have to drop our price. We don't have to pretend like we're begging. No, everybody needs our product. Everybody doesn't need a ukulele. Sorry, most people do not need a ukulele. When you need it, right? When you want it, you want it. Okay, great. But everybody will need software. Everyone. A ukulele player will have to eventually record that on some kind of a software program. So we need to stand upright, keep our chin up, keep our prices where they're supposed to be, and tell the market, this is what this is worth. And believe in it. You gotta believe. If you don't believe, who the hell is gonna believe? So, anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you all in about a month's time.